This video is brought to you with censorship because YouTube.
You ask me, my brother, when will man reach perfection? Perfection. 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 You ask me, my brother, hear my affection.
What is your first impression of this man based on his looks? What would you assume about his profession, confidence, and dating life based on your first impression of him? And your first impression of this man? Which would you assume has the most exciting profession, is the most outgoing, has the most confidence, and the better dating life? And you probably don't want to date men, so why wouldn't women make even starker observations and assumptions than you just did? The halo effect is a bias in which our overall impression of a person, a figurative halo, colors our judgment of that person's character. Research into the halo effect reveals that a person's positive qualities, physical appearance, and general attractiveness affect how we judge their character. The better they look, the better a person we judge them to be. What women may see as confident when a handsome guy does it may be seen as inappropriate when an ugly guy does it.
The impression you create is affected by the way you look. We tend to think beautiful people are more intelligent, popular, confident, and better at everything from their jobs to flying a plane. And if you can create a favorable impression, you can create advantages for yourself.
Women feel validated when they've captivated the interest of a good-looking man. It suggests to them and their peers that they have a high market value, that they're a catch. Being with good-looking men brings women status, placing them above other women, as well as giving them access to good genes. Women view good-looking men as better people due to being blinded by the halo effect and want to be around them. This works in reverse for unattractive men. Women want to date chads, a catch-all term meaning good-looking men. When referring to specific races of chads, a black chad is often referred to as a tyrone. An Asian chad may occasionally be referred to as a chang, at least outside of Asian communities. An Arab chad is sometimes referred to as an abdul. This woman describes how she approached a man that she found good looking.
I had this guy who I walked past every day and I thought he was really attractive, and so at one time I wrote him a little note and I just said, call me, put my number on it, and while passing him I gave it to him.
That is awesome.
I know, and I was terrified. As soon as I was walking away, I was like, oh my god, what did I just do? What if he doesn't call me? And then I'll see him every day.
Yeah. What happened?
He called me.
He called you?
Yes.
So it worked?
Yeah, it worked. We went on dates and it was actually really cool.
Her aura and facial expressions show how delighted she was that he reciprocated her attraction. She's almost reliving the joy that she felt when she first made a romantic connection with that guy. Women want to be approached by good-looking guys and feel these feelings, so much so that if the situation presents itself and the chad doesn't approach them, women will make it easier for the chad to approach them, or may even approach the chad themselves. This woman probably believed that this man had a good personality too, owing to the halo effect. Women feel validated when they're approached by or entertained by good-looking guys. It reinforces to a woman her high sexual market value, her beauty, and her social status. So obviously the opposite is also true. Women on the whole don't like being approached by unattractive guys. Hollywood celebrity Brie Larson tweeted, "I merely smiled at a TSA agent and he asked for my phone number. To live life as a woman is to live life on the defense. I'll explain shortly why Brie wouldn't have complained if the TSA agent had looked like this." Bold featured an article about 20-year-old Noah Jansma, who was so annoyed by the many men who catcalled her throughout her day that she decided to take selfies with them to upload to her Instagram account. Dear catcallers. Notice how none of the catcallers are good looking, even if some are decent looking. For instance, the catcaller upper left is middle-aged, high body fat, with a receding hairline and lacks any attractive facial features. The one bottom right, his head looks like a cross between a potato and a big toe, with the skin of a keratinized glans. You will notice that the other men are low status or unattractive or both. Most of these unattractive men fit into one or more of the following categories: old, balding, high body fat, low status immigrant looking, manlet or short height, poor eyesight genetics, possibly not of a phenotype that she's into, and what have you. But surely the top middle guys are decent looking, right? Nope. From right to left, judging by this photo alone, man 3 is about a 3 to 4 out of 10 in looks. His jawline appears quite downward rather than forward grown, or at least unimpressive. He has deep nasal labial folds when his face is at near rest. He has lower face asymmetry and low set cheekbones. But overall, he just lacks the facial harmony to be considered attractive by most women. Despite his drooping nasal tip, man 2 is about a 5 for his race or phenotype, which is more likely to be characterized by facial traits such as a weak receding and short chin, while his is broad, tall and masculine. Notice how the chin of the black male on the right is short in height? It looks weak. His mouth protrudes more than his chin. His chin lacks breadth and is roundish. The male on the right has a poor philtrum to chin ratio. Ideally, one's chin should be longer than one's philtrum. Another characteristic common to many blacks is bidental protrusion, extreme projection or forward growth of the teeth area along the Z-axis. More attractive jaw growth is shown right in green, while his teeth appear not to protrude beyond his chin, but without attractive features such as high cheekbones, a smoldering hunter eye area, smooth skin, and better facial harmony, Jansma probably still considers him far below Chad or Tyrone level. Man 1 is at least around a 5. The difference between an average face and a good-looking face is mere millimeters, but is huge. Of course, these men could just be the wrong phenotype or race for this woman who wants a white man. We've briefly met even non-white women who demand white men.
I've only had 3 boyfriends. The last 2 played rugby and were well over 6 foot. White, broad, dark, hot.
We'll discuss race red pills like this in an upcoming episode. Disagree with the looks red pill and want to debate me on a friendly no doxing livestream? You won't need to show your face. Email faceandlms@gmail.com. Now, some women may find being approached by the odd unattractive guy endearing. It evokes the sort of feeling that makes her want to pet an animal on the head and say, "Aww."
I'm Garrett, I am 13. I like to dance, I like to write. There's this girl named Alexa. She's pretty. I sort of got to know her pretty well, and suddenly I realized I like this girl. We both take dance, we both love it, so I think I'm gonna do a little dance for her.
Hold up, stop. This one's for you. Ain't no holding back, no.
She loved it.
Notice she turned her head away seconds before hugging him, and no kiss. This asexual grandma hug shows she found the gesture endearing, but not him good looking. To live life as a woman is to live life on the defense. As women's access to good-looking men and sense of entitlement skyrocket, in large part thanks to feminism, social media and online dating, women increasingly find it an insult if men that they find below them in physical attractiveness approach them. An unattractive guy approaching a woman suggests that he thinks he is of equal or above attractiveness and status to her. It's an insult to her high sexual market value, beauty and social status. Women may thus react cold, standoffish, or even hostile towards guys that they find unattractive approaching them. Here's pickup artist Sasha Daygame cold approaching a woman. Although she's going through the motions with him, she comes off as passive-aggressive and quietly annoyed by his approach. She likely doesn't find him good looking. Several times, she makes it clear that she's just not into him, like initially for instance.
What's your story, Olivia? Other than being...
I don't live in London.
Oh.
And note what she says here.
I'll give you a missed call and then you'll know it's me.
I don't even know you though. I don't even know you though.
A woman would only really say this if she didn't want to get to know you. This is not attraction and possibly resulted in a flaky phone number. Woman speak and female logic.
Guys, if you want it, you need to tell somebody.
Guys need to be more what? What do guys need?
Courageous.
Courageous?
Step away from Tinder and actually get their ass out there.
This woman says that if a man likes a woman, he should approach her. But she liked a guy's looks enough for her to do the approaching.
I had this guy who I walked past every day and I thought he was really attractive, and so at one time I wrote him a little note and I just said, call me.
Using the logic of what she did, not what she says, her advice should be for men to be good looking enough to get approached, or at least be good looking enough for a woman to be welcoming of their approach. Why do women put so much effort into their styling, makeup and hair, and try their best to show off their cleavage, figure and skin, yet react hostile and find it uncomfortable or an insult when some men look? Although some of the reason is to compete with other women, a lot of that effort is for Chad. It's not so much that women hate being objectified, but rather they hate being objectified by guys that they don't find good looking. From the hours in the hair salon to the figure-hugging yoga pants, it's to get Chad's attention and validation, to show the world just how high their market value is. The fact that non-good-looking guys can also see their showy display is an unwanted side effect. When good-looking guys objectify or approach a woman, rather than an insult, it's a credit to their beauty and status. This woman appears smitten before this man even gets to demonstrate any personality.
Hey.
Hi.
Bro, I'm Rob.
I'm Jen.
Jen, nice to meet you, bro. How you doing?
Thank you.
Where are you on your way to, bro? Bro, into the gym.
Yeah.
You live here in the city.
Yes.
What do you do?
I work at MTV.
Bro, MTV.
Yeah.
What do you do for them?
Ad sales.
Wow. You sell ads for Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, listen, bro, I'd love to get your number if you're interested. I'd love to hang out with you sometime. You sound like you have a cool job and you're obviously a cool, beautiful chick.
Cool.
What do you think, bro?
Sure, bro.
Really?
Sure, bro.
Bro?
Bro.
Bro! What's your name, by the way?
My name's Jen.
Jen, I'm Rob. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Rob.
Well, here, let me get it. What's your number?
914.
Okay. Jen, it's nice to meet you.
You too.
Awesome. Thanks so much, bro. Have a good one.
Good-looking men have such value to women that this woman mirrors his speech pattern, first mistakenly,
You sell ads for Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
and then mockingly in an effort to build comfort with him.
What do you think, bro?
Sure, bro.
Really?
Sure, bro.
Bro?
Girls who stop time when you lay eyes upon them, that fill you with a mixture of dread and excitement, butterflies and awkwardness, that you wish you could date and be intimate with. If you're somewhat social, have friends, can be described as having a funny or outgoing, edgy personality, and don't have any extreme disorders that affect your behavior such as Asperger's syndrome or social anxiety, then girls like these would love to date you. Your confidence, game and personality needn't be perfect. If they're at least about average, then they're not the problem. Because women don't consider you young and good looking or a credit to their market value, your approach is an insult to them. A woman wants to be approached by her looks match or status match or better. Women increasingly don't want to be associated with or come into contact with guys that they consider unattractive. If only various features on your face were millimeters to the left or right, up or down, projected millimeters more forward, or weren't so over projected, millimeters bigger or smaller. It's these millimeters that make the difference, as evidenced by this Photoshop morph. It's the millimeters that make male models. MMs make MMs. Women are attracted to a narrower set of traits in men than that which men are attracted to in women. For example, men are into every bust size, flat-chested, average, large, or even implants. Men are into all body types, from skinny to BBW or big beautiful women. While men prefer youthful women, lots of men would date older women or MILFs. It's almost hard for a woman not to be attractive to a large number of men. Her being a female mammal is enough. Red pill. Juggernaut law states that within reason, the more flaws that a woman has, the more men think they have a chance with her, raising the competition for said woman. Which means your female looks match can date men better looking than you, so she needn't settle for you. Looks in order to become more physically attractive. Non-surgical looks maxing includes one very important characteristic or prerequisite, being low body fat. But why? Low body fat raises testosterone levels and lowers estrogen levels. That is, higher testosterone levels are correlated with lower body fat levels, as there is a 23% overlap between the genes that control testosterone and those that regulate body fat composition, according to the Society for Endocrinology. Testosterone is the hormone responsible for increased lean muscle mass, increased facial hair, and skin glow. What's more, testosterone makes muscles tighter and stronger, and the face is made up of more than 30 muscles. Testosterone also removes fat from the face, giving it a more chiseled look. This dovetails into the next important reason why low body fat is an important aspect of looks maxing. Low body fat will give you a leaner, less bloated, and more defined face. If you have somewhat decent facial bones, they will be more visible. Your cheekbones and jawline, for instance, will be more pronounced. Your chin won't be obscured by under chin fat. As with most aspects of attraction, biology tells us a lot. Women are seen as attractive with curves, i.e. at higher body fat than men are, and not just because men have a higher, less discriminating drive. Fat in normal women represents between 18 and 20% of body weight, whereas in men it represents only 10 to 15%. The reason for this difference is that women at some point in their lives may nourish a fetus, and then a baby from their own reserves. So women have to stock energy in the form of fat in anticipation of future pregnancies, and must stock even more energy during the first 2 trimesters of pregnancy. Women's fat distribution is different from men's. Because of estrogen, women's fat tends to be more concentrated around the bust, hips, buttocks and thighs, and can accentuate their femininity and attractiveness. Whereas in men, it seems to be concentrated in the face and the belly, and can plummet men's masculinity and attractiveness. It's almost as if Mother Nature is a misandrous troll. Low body fat can increase women's attractiveness to more men, while low body fat is usually the beginning of men's attractiveness to more women, and it's not always required for women. Most guys who are deemed attractive are between about 10 to 15% body fat. The overwhelming majority of men look better at lower rather than at higher body fat. Most men underestimate their body fat percentage and how much they need to lose to give their face more definition. As women's standards for what they deem attractive in a man skyrocket, never before has it been so important for men to be lean. British actor Dan Stevens' bloated subhuman mess to Chad transformation is particularly awesome. Years later, he looks younger than he used to. Low body fat won't make most men good looking, but it should at least improve your looks. And it's the basis for more looks maxing. So how badly do you want your dating life to improve? How hard are you willing to work? Coming up, I ran another fake male model dating profile, this time on Tinder. See what Chad gets away with and how Chad is treated. And we start to look more in depth at some of the red pills that we briefly saw earlier. How much of the red pill can you take?